All right, everybody, welcome. It's Tuesday nights. Andy's not here. Isn't that a good thing? No. He will be joining us. He is, he's flying. Well, he was flying to Florida for business. So, of course, his flight got delayed. And he is currently, I think, running to his hotel room to get set up. But we have Clark from Old Dom, all things Old Dom. Last week, we had issues with snow and ice. Had to postpone last week, but Clark is generous enough to come back again this week because we've been waiting so long to have him on and talk all things Old Dom. I'll never forget, just to give a little premise here before we start with Clark and Andy coming in. It was Rock the Rick House last year. I guess that was June, I guess. Did we have Rock? Yeah, anyway, we're sitting there and Ernest Peacock had a bunch of Old Dom and was telling everybody, you've got to try this. You've got to try this Tennessee whiskey, this bourbon. Old Dom is it. And I actually, at the time, I hate to say it, I had never even had, I had Hauling Station. So I had this. I had never had any of their own juice. So this is MGP. This is a wheated whiskey pick from Silbox. And was just blown away by just what they were doing and why I'd never had this before. So he said, look, I know Clark, I can get him on. And I feel bad it's taken us this long to have him on. But we finally have Clark on. I know he's been on a lot of channels. He's good friends with Helgo's Whiskey Friends, and super excited to have him on here, and hope you guys enjoyed as much as I do. So here's a couple of things. One, I'll be going solo until Andy comes here. We do have questions, I know. So if you have questions for Clark, I know on Discord and Patreon, people submitted some questions already. I will get to those, but if you have questions for Clark, wait till Andy gets online so that one of us can mine the questions, and we'll make sure we get him on. But without further ado, enough blabbering about me. Also in the chat, let me know what you're drinking. And if you're drinking any of this Old Dom, if you had any of it before, and what's your favorite expression? Is it the wheated whiskey? Is it the wheated bourbon? I've heard it's out there. Is it the Hauling Station, which is MGP? Is it this cask strength bourbon, which is my favorite? Or is it the Tennessee? What is it? Tell us in the chat. But let's get started. Without further ado, the man of the hour, Clark, braving the elements and snow and all that other good stuff. Clark, how are you, man? Good to have you.
What's up? I'm doing well. I like
a long applause. I'm sorry.
Come on, let's bring it up. Let's go.
Yeah, that's right. How are you, man? You braved the snow. Everything's okay. I know last week you were dealing with a bunch of crap that we were dealing with as well. So hope all is okay.
Yeah, we're down here in Memphis, Tennessee. We probably have 2 snowplows, and we don't have any salt trucks. So, it's just like
you're really screwed when it's that.
God. I got a couple of funny stories about that we can get into, but long and the short, we are surviving. We're not thriving, but we are surviving here. And
we thought we were bad here in Maryland, and we have, we get snow here, but I guess where you're at in Memphis, you never get what you got last or 2 weeks or whatever that was 10 days ago. I don't know how long ago.
That, we get snow twice. We probably get 2 good snows a year and some ice, but what we got, much like a lot of the country, was ice, and then it never got above
that's the problem
10 degrees. So it was just frozen tundra, and nobody knows how to drive. Everybody ran out of everything you could imagine in the grocery store. Thankfully, I had plenty of bourbon. But other than that, rations were pretty thin for a little while. But hey, we're back.
Okay, yeah, toilet paper, milk, and bourbon. That's kind of all you need at that point, right? I mean, our problem was we got about 6, 7, 8 inches of snow and then about 4 inches of sleet. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And it was sleeting at 20 degrees outside, and then about 1/4 of an inch of ice on top of that. And then it got frigid cold for a week and a half, not getting above 15. And how do you shovel that? What do you do on that? You don't. It's just like I felt like with the guy from Frozen, Kristoff, with chopping ice out front. Jeez Louise! But anyway, we're through it. We're here.
Blues around our neighborhood. So
yeah. Thanks for joining us. For everybody out there, and I know there's some that maybe have never had Old Dominick or don't know who Old Dominick is. Give us a sort of 30,000 foot view of who Old Dominick is and why we all love them so much.
I'd love to. It's funny. We yesterday we celebrated kind of a milestone, which is I'll have to go backwards from here, but we had our 9-year anniversary of the first barrel that we ever laid down, which was cool.
That's amazing.
So funny enough, it was on Groundhog Day. So there you go. But so that was 9 years and 1 day ago, as we speak tonight, we laid down our first barrel of Tennessee whiskey, which is cool too, because that was the first barrel of legal whiskey distilled, aged, and bottled in Memphis, Tennessee since Prohibition, which is pretty neat. So, historic in some sense. But rewinding way back when, Old Dominick Distillery, really the brand Old Dominick, kind of predates Prohibition, all the way back to 1866.
Okay. Yeah.
Dominick, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of times they ask, what is Old Dominick? Where's the name come from? I always kind of like to start there. Domenico Canale was an Italian immigrant, came over, braved the seas and landed in Memphis, Tennessee. And back in the day, that was kind of a riverboat town, bustling, kind of budding industry town, right? Of course, right on the Mississippi River. And he was quite an industrious fellow, and kind of got into doing all sorts of things. Had a produce line, a bunch of other stuff. But what he did, he settled on bringing down barrels of whiskey from Indiana, Kentucky, all these different places, and he would bottle them up in Memphis under the Old Dominick logo, or the Old Dominick brand. And he had a pretty viable business, frankly, and it was distributed all over. He's bringing thousands of barrels down even back then, and we still have some of the old bottles that he used back in the day too, which is really, really neat. A lot of people who have visited the distillery have seen those. So he had a bunch of products that he made, made quite of a name for himself in the whiskey industry. But, as with anything, Prohibition was staring down the barrel of him. And he kind of, it's funny, he passed away, Dominick, he passed away a little bit before Prohibition. I think he saw it on the wall. So he said, I'm out of here. So he never made it to Prohibition, but so with his passing went the brand.
Yeah.
And it kind of sat dormant for many, many years. The family that his great grandsons and then my current boss is his great grandsons. It was always, kind of family lore, right? We used to whiskey and we used to do this and that. But they finally kind of got the harebrained idea to revitalize it around 2012. It was kind of more of an idea phase. 2013 picked up a little momentum.
Yeah.
2014 they discovered this old bottle called the Old Dominick Toddy, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
That kind of gave them the push to say, let's do this thing. So
that's awesome.
It is kind of fun because working for this company, a lot of times those kind of stories of the legend, the founder, family legacy, a lot of that's made up in some sort of like marketing incubator somewhere is actually true, which is not always the case out there. But they revitalized the brand. I came on board 2016 and kind of helped get the branding and the visual and kind of working on that part of the brand. And then we started laying down whiskey, like I said, 9 years ago and 1 day.
That's amazing.
So
and if I remember correctly, so that first barrel as you lay down, it's Tennessee whiskey, right? That's your Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that. When we think of Old Dominick, you're out of Memphis, by the way. We're going to talk about who has the best barbecue in Memphis. And if it's not Rendezvous, you got to tell me where it is, because I had that and it was amazing. So we'll talk about that later. Why as a Tennessee distilling company, are we bringing in bourbon? And I think I know the answer, and what's the differences other than the link, the process? Is it, I see there's a different mash bill. Help us understand the Tennessee whiskey compared to the bourbon and why that transition from Tennessee to bourbon.
Right. So, starting out being a Tennessee brand, that was important that our flagship be a Tennessee whiskey. Right. And funny enough, Tennessee, the state did not repeal the state prohibition.
Right.
Federal prohibition was repealed, of course. Kentucky distilleries kind of got, quasi grandfathered in. Of course, people were making whiskey in other states, but our state did not have this budding distilling industry, other than, of course, everyone knows Jack Daniels and, of course, George Dickel, right? Those two, they remained prominent features. The a couple of folks, the ownership of Old Dominick and some other brands, notable like Chattanooga Whiskey, some of the guys in Nashville, we kind of got together and said, hey, look, we want to have an industry just like you would see on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail or wherever else, you know?
Sure.
So a lot of people got together, got some legislation together, and actually we were, you know, somewhat allowed to distill again. That was kind of a fight during the 2014, 2015.
Is that the same fight? Not to stop you, but we had Tim Pearson on from Chattanooga. I think he's talking about the same thing you're talking. So you were involved with that with him as well, getting that change, correct?
Tim was integral in that. You know, they actually have a bunch of brands. One of my favorite lines that they do was Vote Whiskey, and it was a barrel, or it was some products that they put out to kind of bring awareness to the fact that, hey, we need to get together. We need to talk to our legislators. We need all the counties to be able to have distilling operations up and running. So Chattanooga Whiskey was absolutely integral in in getting the Tennessee Distillers Guild founded, along with Old Dominick and a few others. And then when the guild was founded, there was a few distilleries making whiskey or bottling it or sourcing it. And then the trail, the Tennessee Whiskey Trail, was subsequently created kind of after that. So that really created whiskey tourism for Tennessee. We never really had. Of course, you had Jack Daniels, you know, the biggest brand in the world. And you had George Dickel, which was in Tullahoma and Cascade Hollow, which they were doing their thing. But you didn't have really much else beyond that. So bringing it back to why it was important for us to put out Tennessee Whiskey as a flagship is we really wanted to be in that game as well. There's only 32, I forget, I'm going to butcher the number, but there's 30-ish distilleries now in Tennessee. But back then, I mean, even 9 years ago, there was like 5.
Right.
So putting out a Tennessee Whiskey was important to us. Of course, we follow the Lincoln County process, but we kind of have our own spin and take on it. We can get to that in a minute. But yeah, we're excited to be kind of holding our own. In fact, our Bottled and Bond just won best Tennessee whiskey in the world.
Well, and there's Darrell from Hello Again Whiskey Friends, and I watched their you're great guys, and they've been advocates of you for ages, and honestly, they're one of the ones that helped all this community kind of know how great you are. So how's it going, Darrell? Part of Hello Again Whiskey Friends. But you know, I tried. So when I went through these expressions, we've had these now for a little while. I know somebody commented, I haven't housed half of them yet, but I love the fact that each of these expressions does give you a different experience, right? It's not even within, you know, the Bottle and Bond is Tennessee whiskey, correct?
Correct.
And then you try just a regular Tennessee whiskey at a lower proof. And while, yes, it's a lower proof, I think the great thing about that is you get a different experience, even with the same mash bill. And I don't know if the age statements are different. I know it's Bottle and Bond versus your 85 proof, but I love that. And then you move over to the bourbon, and wow, I mean, that's another whole experience. And I know you've got weeded whiskey. I mean, tell us, not to get too far in advance here, but where's all this going? I mean, I know you've been really good at sort of crafting new sort of finishes as well. What can we expect next from, I guess, Old Dominick here now that we've hit 2026?
It's funny, we're a 5 mash bill distillery as of about 9 months ago. Now, of course, we make our Tennessee whiskey, which is mash bill number 1. Mash bill number 2 is our bourbon, which we'll get to in a moment. That's our high rye bourbon. And mash bill number 3 is our weeded whiskey.
Okay. What is that weeded mash bill? What is it? Is it
83?
Weeded? Okay.
So it's 83% wheat.
Okay.
So it's super fun. We're gonna get into that in a moment. Then our fourth is we started making a bourbon, a Tennessee bourbon, and then we have an American single malt coming. Now you probably won't see those other 2 for quite some time. We got to have 3 or 4 more years.
The weeded bourbon and American single malt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now we're a 5 mash bill distillery. Of course, we do a bunch of other things, but the first 2 mash bills, the Tennessee whiskey, of course, is our flagship. But then that high rye bourbon mash was birthed from our Hewling Station brand, which a lot of people have, familiar with that as well. Yep. So those were the first 2 that we went out the gate with. Funny enough, I think our Tennessee whiskey is amazing, but our distillery, our equipment may be made for making high rye bourbon. I'm just going to let you know.
I think you're right about that.
I
think you're right about that.
That is one of the things the guys, David Valentine and all his crew, they laugh and they're like, yeah, we might be onto something here. So our bourbon mash is it's just hard to beat. It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing. So you mimic this mash bill off of the MGP bourbon mash bill? Okay. Got
That's an interesting story too. You know, I mentioned, you know, the story arc of us actually being able to put out our own liquid. And then of course, barreling our first barrel in 2017. There's a long time between that and 2022 when we actually sold our first product. So we contracted distilled at MGP and, you know, a couple different runs. And at the time they were allowing distilleries to, if you were crazy enough to do it, go up there, bring in your own. We brought our own grain, brought our own water, our own yeast strain. We brought our own barrels up there. We basically cooked in their kitchen. You know, people have heard me tell this analogy before, but at that time, MGP was allowing you to kind of create your own custom mash. And that's exactly what we did, knowing that once we got our production up and running, we were going to make those exact same mash bills at our place. So that was some very forward thinking from us doing that. And it's fun now to taste what we made at MGP and on their equipment. And a lot of it was aged in Indiana versus the same mash bill made on our equipment and 100% aged in Memphis with our climate and, you know, all that nuance. So I think that's such a fun part of our brand story, not only our Old Dominick stuff, but kind of tasting where the MGP stuff went.
I don't want, and I think, the comment here, I hate beer, which I don't hate beer, by the way. I'm a home brewer. Anyway, that's how, Clark, that's how we started this channel. We were home brewers. We were that dumb. And we were like, let's do a channel on home brewing. That's going to be fun. So then, you know, you brew a beer once and then you brew it again and you brew it again. And it's the same process over and over again. There's only so much you can do about that. And then we started saying, well, let's just review beer. And then we were like, well, we like barrel-aged beer. But why do we like barrel-aged beer so much? Let's start finding that out. Let's start drinking the whiskey. And it was a very slippery slope into basically, we're beer, bourbon, and rock and roll, but it's mainly whiskey now. But my point being, the Tennessee whiskey he's saying is the best in the state. I don't want to overlook, you know, I talked about how much I do love your bourbon, but, you know, when you think of Tennessee whiskey, you automatically think of, well, Jack Daniels, but really also, I think I actually like high-aged, sort of higher proof Dickel. I don't mind the minerality. Some people do. I don't get any of that. I mean, that is nowhere to be found in any of your Tennessee whiskey. I mean, right? I mean, we're not talking about that. I think people see Tennessee whiskey like, oh, I don't like Tennessee whiskey. I'm sure they try your whiskey and we're like, oh, it's not. I mean, you could probably fool people that I wouldn't know this is Tennessee whiskey. I would think it's bourbon.
Oh, we do that all the time, and we call it the Pepsi challenge. You know, a lot of times in my travels, somebody will say, I'm not a Tennessee whiskey guy. I just keep that in the bag. I'm like, okay, let me just take you on it. And then 9 out of 10 times, they're like, wait, what is this? You know, why is it different? You know, and so why we're different on the Tennessee whiskey line, whether it's the 85 proof, the bottled and bond, or our single barrels, is a couple of different factors. But, you know, mainly we go into the barrel relatively low, 110 barrel entry proof, which even at that 85 proof whiskey, which we can even try it now. You're not adding a lot of water to get to that. You're not adding a ton of water. Even for proof guys like me, you know, 85, I'm like, it's kind of like, it's got a lot of nuance, a lot of character, a lot of flavor. It's not sweet. Of course, there's a little bit of sugar content in there. It's predominantly corn, but it's not sweet. So you kind of break down that, does it taste like Jack? No. The other thing is we use very, very minimal chill filtering, right? So if you go on to Jack Daniels, they send their whiskey, you know, the big, you know, the story, which is awesome to hear, but they send it through miles and miles of sugar maple charcoal and all this and that. We literally send it through a vat about that big, so we can say it's checking the box to, you know, adhere to the Lincoln County process. And then the other main factor that our kind of secret sauce is our water source here in Memphis.
Right.
We're not known for a lot of things other than barbecue and
I mean that's a good thing to be known for.
In a high crime rate, but other than that,
I'm from Baltimore, so
Well, we have a phenomenal water source. In fact, probably the best, one of the best.
Ironically, so does Baltimore for brewing beer. And I don't know if it's the same, Sagamore's here. We have a few other distilleries, but it's really it's great water for brewing beer, which is maybe the same thing for, I assume, distilling. It's the same process. So it's probably the same thing, I guess.
I see a comment. Tennessee whiskey technically bourbon. There is a debate on that, but I would agree. All the more reason to make our Tennessee whiskey stand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
The last factor is our climate here. I mean, it is obviously it gets
there's Ernest.
Extremely hot, and we have massive humidity. And then think about it. Yesterday it was 10 degrees with snow on the ground. So we get those barrels working really, really hard. And I think our aging process, and we're still seeing that bear fruit with some of our older whiskey now. It's just really unique and different than a lot of other parts in the country.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I have a couple of questions. So I did to our Discord. I went out and said, do you have any questions for Clark? Put them here. I'll try to read them. So there's a couple I want to get to you, Clark, before I forget. Andy comes on and we've forgotten it. So Derek H says, Old Dominick 8 is fantastic. That was the anniversary 8 year that you had come out last year, correct? The 8 year that everyone seemed to love, and that's gone now. You can't buy it. But you mentioned you just did your 9, is a 9 year coming? Is that, or is it going to be an 8 year again this year? How is that working?
We're going to do another 8 year release.
Okay.
The reason being is we want to make sure we have enough juice to put out. We need to double that output because people really loved it. And so we will release another 8 year. It's going to be release number 2. It'll be available in most of our markets somewhere around July and August, as well as online. And that was an absolute home run. And if you didn't get a chance to buy that,
I bet you Ernest has some. Ernest, you got to give us a sample of that. So I didn't get that, but
he probably drank it all. But
that's true. But that's one thing Clark, I want to say is, while I don't know what states you're in, but regardless, a lot of our patron viewers buy our single barrels from Shared Pour or Seal Box or Keg and Bottle, or Bourbon Outfitter. You're on available. You just go to your website. You can purchase them, correct? I mean, the core lineup plus that 8 year was available there at one point, right?
It sold out quick. I'm going to try to get more on there and get it into the hands of Jay at Shared Pour and obviously Blake at Seal Box.
Nice.
Places. But it kind of surprised us, frankly, how well it went over. And so we were not ready for that. So
that's a good thing to have, right? That's a good problem.
Doubled the output. It was a 32 barrel batch, and we're doing almost double that this time. And so we'll hopefully have enough to get it to our fans. But yeah, that was it was
an 8 year.
It was a home run. So that's the 8 year.
All right. C-Bar asks, what kind of changes, if any, do you see coming in your product with pricing pressure and inventories building, i.e. longer age statements, different barrels, input costs, et cetera? That's the one thing I want to say, Clark, is your pricing is phenomenal. I mean, we're talking this barrel strength. It's a 6 year cask strength bourbon for $59. That to me in this day and age is a steal. So to C-Bar's question, are you changing your pricing structure? Is there changes based off of, inventories or, strains on supplies and stuff like that? Do you foresee that coming for Old Dom?
No, I won't say it's all been perfect over the last few years, but we work hard every day to try to provide value at a price point that's approachable. And and I mean, and that's a company-wide thing. We're looking at COGS all the time. We're looking at our inventory. We're looking at our par levels. We're looking at our freight cost, our distribution model. What states can we be in and provide that? We try to have a national pricing structure that has our cash strength and our bonded at $49.99.
Right.
And our everyday drinkers, those are the 85 proof and the 90 proof at $29.99. And our barrel program sub 60. Now, is it always that way? No. But if we can shoot to provide that across the board, I think that is why a lot of people are gravitating towards brands like us and other craft brands that are doing that. Because look, the days of $150, $200 stuff, it's just gone. It's not.
It's tough. I mean, listen, I think we all went through it, but
yeah. So our goal is really to provide quality products made by quality people, and that's kind of the way we try to roll. So,
all right. Candace wants to know. I think Candace is in the chat. Does Old Dominick plan on working with some interesting finishes? And that's kind of piggybacked onto what Anthony Peters, Graveshot, says. What have been some of your favorite experimental batches you've done? So, two-part question there. Old Dominick, and are you even thinking about going into some interesting finishes? And what are some of your more favorite experimental batches you've seen come out of Old Dominick?
Yeah. So first part of that is we are working on some different finishes. We have 2 different stave finishes in our current barrel program that y'all should start seeing those hit the market over the next couple.
Maybe if we come out there soon, we'll see those. How about that, Clark? What do you think?
I have to give you one. We have a toasted stave and a mocha stave.
Oh,
we've finished some 6-year Tennessee whiskey. So those will only be available via single barrels, but
okay,
that's kind of, we're testing the waters on those. Our distillery
team,
a lot of us are purists, but we love to play and with some of this stuff. But all these things that we do finish wise are birthed through our R&D program actually at the distillery. So the second part of that question, what's my favorite release? Of course, everybody always asks us about all the cookies. Everybody wants that one. That one's a fun one. We take
what was that? Tell for people who don't know, what was that?
A barrel of oatmeal cookie stout beer that was made by a local brewery. We put our bourbon in it, and in that barrel. And then every time we did that release, it would taste like cookies and cream, the cereal you would get when you were a kid. It was just so good. And it was high proof. It was just yummy. But we would run out of that all the time because the brewery here in town, they only made that beer like once a year. So it'd be a limited batch. But we've had some recent ones that are awesome. We had this nutcracker that we have currently at the distillery that was amazing. Kind of the similar concept, but it was in a nut brown ale beer barrel. And then last spring, we did this bourbon colada.
Tell me about that. What?
It was like drinking a Mai Tai, but via bourbon. And it was so good. And we released it actually at this event down in Jackson, Mississippi called the Spillway Bourbon Drop. A lot of people may have heard about this, but it's like a bourbon carnival, if I could sum it up. But we released it there and it went over gangbusters. So we always have some stuff that we're playing with at the distillery. And when things take off and we're able to scale them, we will then scale them to try to take it to if it's scalable. And Calvin, I think the answer is yes. I'm sure you do have, I assume, distillery only exclusive bottles that happen, right? We do. Stay tuned. Always check our socials. We currently always have 1 or 2 at the bottle shop. Yeah. And we try to keep 1 or 2 things only available, and then mostly they're in pints. They're in 375. Okay. So when you come and visit, you might not want to buy a full 750 or something.
I love that. I love it.
You just pick up a pint of it and give it a whirl.
And then if any of our moderators can put in the link to Old Dom, go there, take a look. Again, a lot of these core offerings are there, and you ship to most states, right? I mean, they're readily, right?
The numbers always change. I think it's around 46 states.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. I know this cash strength is on there. Let's talk about it next. I'm going to skip over the bottle and bond because I'm hoping Andy will join us because he has that and he loved it too. And the toddy, I'm saving that. But let's go to this cash strength bourbon, which I'll be honest, I tried them all. I love them. This was my favorite of the 5. And it's not just because it's the high proof. When I tasted this, it automatically sort of resonated with me. I love the high rye aspect of this. I mean, it's a 6-year cash strength bourbon for $59. I'm not sure what's not to like about that. Tell us about this cash strength. And I assume it's probably a hot seller, or at least I would.
It's actually 49 most of the time. So even better.
49. Sorry, 49.
It does say 6 years on the bottle.
Yeah,
but a lot of times we're blending 7 years sometimes into that.
Oh gosh.
So you're gonna have nice age at all times on that. You're going to get that punch immediately. For those of y'all who have tried it, I mean, it's 44% rye, right? So it's damn near a rye whiskey, but it is still a bourbon, still 52% corn. And I think that's the magic for this product. It's got some sweetness, got some caramel, but it's all spice. And so if you'd like that rye, but you still want a little sugar, a little sweetness from your traditional bourbons, this is right up your alley. Plus the proof, right? So we do these batches 6 barrels at a time.
Okay.
So I don't know what proof you have.
This one is 118.69, which I think is an absolute perfect proof point for any whiskey. And I mean, I'll go higher for sure, but I think that's a perfect cask strength, 118, 119, 120. It's perfect.
So our guys are really great. David and team are really great about blending to taste.
Yeah,
so
that's the
6 barrels. And sometimes it'll be 118, which is on the low side. Sometimes it'll be 124. But it's always going to taste that same concept. So I think that's why people come back to it. So it is truly small batch. Like a lot of people say small batch. It's 6 barrels at a time. So
I love that you get up front on this. For me in this batch, I don't know what batch this is, but it's 118.69. I get a lot of sort of that, you said caramel, but I get like buttercream and toffee. And then mid palate, that sort of rye spice washes over that sweetness. And then it finished. I even get some dark chocolate, which is kind of crazy. And even some like dark cherry. It's really sort of decadent and viscous and deep and layered. I enjoyed this one the most out of all 5 that we tried, plus actually Andy's single barrel, which actually is this in a single barrel form, which is phenomenal as well. But I don't know if anybody in our chat, I know Anthony has this. Anybody else have this sort of cask strength bourbon? You said it's $49? Yep. That is a wow. All right. Well, that's a steal right there. I can tell you that right now. And that's available, I believe, right now on your website. You can go buy that and add something else. If Andy ever comes on here, we'll talk about his toddy that he loves so much, but let's wait for that. There is a couple of questions. How did Old Dom settle their 110 barrel entry proof? Settle on their 100. Yeah, there you go. There's Anthony Peters.
That's a good question. So our founding distiller, Alex Castle, she loved that barrel entry proof. And you know what? She's a hell of a distiller. So that's why we have it. But I will tell you, it's funny because our ownership, that's not the way that most distilleries of our size are going into the barrel, right? It's not, it's kind of cost prohibitive if you think about it, right? Most legacy distillers are going in at 120, 130, so they can stretch that inventory. So going in at 110, on the front end, it may cost you a little bit in yield, but I think from the quality on the output side, I'm very proud of why we do that. And I think that's why our whiskeys and bourbons are so good. All of our distillate goes in at 110.
Now, I know I was watching something, Clark. You do have some hazmat stuff though, right? I know there's some things that have been released from Old Dominick that's even gone into those 140s for whatever reason. Any reason? Tell us a little about these hazmats that have come out and what they are, when you can find them, and how the hell are you getting a 140, 150 proof?
We're trying to get some hazmats out in the market over the next little bit, but we found, so our aging loft, if you've never been, you guys are going to come down here in a little while, but our aging loft, our original aging loft is a second floor aging loft, completely not climate controlled. There's these big giant windows that are open most of the time. And so a lot of the barrels that kind of sit in the front of that aging loft just cook. I'm telling you, just cook. Yeah. And a lot of those original barrels and some of our first production runs throughout that first year or two, they have spiked so high in proof. But it's not just high proof, all alcohol. Like the fact that these things drink with nuance and flavor, and you can actually sip on them versus oh my God, this is so high, we can't drink. I just can't explain it, but it is awesome. So we're trying to find some of those barrels and figure out what we did and just keep doing that. But there are, I'd say in our barrel program this calendar year, we probably have a dozen of them.
Yeah.
Now, I got to warn everybody, there's not a lot of liquid left in these barrels.
What do you got about? How many, what do you got? A couple gallons in that barrel?
The one you're referring to, which kind of went a little viral for us, was 141 proof, but it was only like 4.5 gallons.
Ernest is going to send me a sample of perfect.
Ernest won and bought it at an auction to raise some money for our charity.
Now, will any of those hazmats be available for single barrel purchase, or no? That's only going to be sort of select releases internally.
We're going to work on that. We're going to try to do a hazmat release at the distillery
There you go.
Once again, put those in pints so we can spread them out.
Yeah, love it. Oh, look at this. Or the lesser half of Clark meet Andy. Andy meet Clark. He's finally made it down to Florida.
Well, Clark, what's up?
How you doing, Andy?
I was listening in the car. You guys were having too much fun, and now I'm thirsty, so I'm ready to.
Well, there you go. Well, Andy, I'll have to say this. Andy probably is a bigger fan of Old Dom than I am, because I think Ernest got into Andy's ear very early on at Rock the Rick House. Am I correct in that, Andy? And you were sipping on what Ernest was given while I was out, I don't know, doing God knows what.
He did give me a bottle, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And I would be lying if I said there was much left, because I did some serious damage to it.
Yeah, that was what I like to hear.
It's the high rye cast strength. I think he did it for, I think it was a pick that he did with a group. I actually have the bottle of who it was with. Let me see. It was 6 years old, 127 proof. That you guys did for Olive. It's at the Olive Branch Backstage Store.
Olive Branch Package Store. Okay.
Package store. Backstage. I can't read. My eyes are package store. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is fantastic. So really, really, really good. And I fell in love with that. Then I got the samples and.
Well, Andy, I think you need a drink. Stop talking. Do you have samples there?
Well, I'm excited. I've been on I got delayed. I'm on a plane.
No, I know. It's fine.
Start with. You guys have already had which ones?
I've had a lot of stuff. So what do you have there? And let's do the Bottle and Bond, the Tennessee whiskeys. We haven't talked about the Bottle and Bond. And that was the other one that really stood out for me, Clark. That is a Tennessee, right? Or it's Tennessee, right? Tennessee whiskey. Yeah. And I was trying to compare that a little bit to the flavor profile of the cast strength, and it's certainly a different experience, and I love that. So, Andy, let's pour that out. I'd love to
pour it right now.
Tell us a little bit about that and how that's kind of maybe different than from just a regular 85 proof. Is it just simply 100 proof? And
it started that way. Now that we've evolved that line, it's 6 year minimum barrels we're pulling. Of course, it's got and bond, right? So we have to, we have to pull from season to season. But now we have enough inventory to really pick barrels for that project.
Okay.
And we're blending. I won't say the barrels that aren't good enough to make the bottle and bond program, but we're blending that into that 85. So I like to say the barrels that go into that bonded are single barrel worthy barrels.
Got it. So some of the small the Tennessee whiskey regular at 85 is still going to have some higher 6 year in it as well, is what you're saying.
Sometimes depending on, but yeah, I mean, now we're putting 5 and 6 year old juice.
That's great. So with the bourbon, you do get that sort of that 49, what is that, 44%, what is it again? I get 44% rye punch, which I love. You don't get that on this Bottle and Bond Tennessee whiskey, which is a good thing. To me, it's more like maple syrup and sort of Werther's Original. It's very sort of, I hate use the word cream, but vanilla cream. And to me, Fat Kid Todd loves that. That's right up my alley.
I always say it has like a creme brulee kind of like palate.
Yeah.
But it's silky, like on the finish. Yep. And it's just damn good. I will say though that one in particular has surprised us. The first couple of releases were not, I won't say as good, but like what we're putting into that program now, it's night and day different from probably 2 years ago. And in fact, it just won Best Tennessee Whiskey in the world at San Francisco Spirits Competition blind.
Is that what Ernest was just saying? The Bottle and Bond won Best Tennessee Whiskey last year? Is that what it?
Yep. And that's in a blind competition, worldwide competition. So I think we're doing something right with it. And it's, man, it's so good.
It is really good.
Hungover. He drank so much already. Oh,
I haven't drank that much. Small
an inside joke.
It is usually. Well, Andy's also got a lot of catching up to do. I hate beer. Love
way to start.
So let's talk. The last thing before we get to the hot toddy, I do want to ask about sort of the wheated profile, the wheated whiskey, which Andy, I know you have a sample from Dave Vogelsang. Mm-hmm. You don't have to open it up now, but I know I've tried some samples of your wheated whiskey. What's that? Is that strictly going to be single barrels? Yeah, I think you might have mentioned this, but I know you said the wheated bourbon and Andy, they're bringing an American single malt out, by the way, soon.
I heard that in the car. That's fantastic.
Which is, we're big American single malt fans, but talk to me about the wheated whiskey and how that's available. How do you get that?
So the wheated whiskey, let's go back a little bit. We started laying that down in 2018. So a lot of our inventory is 7 years plus on that. But it needed some time, frankly. When I wanted to put it out on the 5-year mark and put it in everyday shelf stock and see what happened. It wasn't quite ready. It needed another year in barrel. So last year we put it out select single barrels. And it was like, people were like, we need more of this. Like we're on there. And I think it drinks best with some proof, frankly. And all the barrels most of the single barrels are coming in between 117 and 124. And that's just the sweet spot on how that project currently is. Okay. So all the barrels you'll see now in your local store, if you want to buy one online, is going to be a 7-year age. And I mean, it's just sweet, soft. And if you're an Old Dom fan and you're drinking the wheat and then you jump over to the bourbon, you're going to get the biggest yin and yang you've ever had in your entire life.
I love that.
And I think that's fun. And then you throw in the bonded. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. So you got your sweet and spicy on your cask strength bourbon. And then you've got kind of soft, creamy, and sweet on the wheat. And there's not a lot of wheated whiskeys out there. Of course, we all know there's a million wheated bourbons.
Correct.
But that is actually a 83% wheat whiskey, right? And so there is some different nuance there. It's not really, from a grain perspective, it's one of the more expensive leading grains to distill with. So you're not going to see a lot of distilleries out there doing it. But I think what we have in the glass is dynamite. So
So Anthony mentions here wheat whiskey at 7 years had some floral notes and made me think it would be better at an even higher age. But even at 7 years, it's still so. Yeah, are we expecting this to grow and age? Like you mentioned, wheated whiskey, and it does. I think the older it does need age. Could we see an 8-9 year wheated whiskey down the road?
For sure. I think we'll continue. I know we'll continue to put out barrels as we get older. Okay. And hopefully when we get enough inventory, probably in 2017, we'll try to do an everyday expression, maybe at barrel strength or full proof, something like that. But it needs proof. I definitely need some proof.
Got it. All right, Andy. I've talked a lot of whiskey with Clark, and I mentioned him earlier before we came on camera. You usually like to ask some questions so our audience can get to know Clark in a little bit different way than just talking about how great Old Dom is. So do you have any questions teed up maybe that you can run by Clark and put him on the spot, so to speak?
The first obvious question is, if someone was going to play you in a movie, would you rather be Dave Bergazzi or a thinner Jack Black? And I'm trying to put that together to see who
you mean. Nate Bargatze? Not what did you say? You mean
Nate, not Dave. Nate. Yeah.
I think I'd take Nate.
Okay. And I said thinner, and I said not because Jack Black.
But I love Jack Black, but I would take Nate too.
And he's funny.
Nate. He's funny.
Although Andy, he kind of also looks like the new Ravens coach, Jesse Minter, who looks like Nate Bargatze. Yeah, I can see that.
Although Jack Black is quite a talent. I mean, we're music guys, okay? Tenacious D, they bring it all the time.
I agreed 100%.
Speaking of music, Clark, the greatest band of this and/or any generation starts their Las Vegas residency today at Caesar's Palace. Can you name who that band is? I'll give you a hint if you look close.
Hold on. I got to do this so he can see. Get rid of
that. I can't. What is that? Oh, Def Leppard. Let's go.
Very convincing there, Andy. It's very convincing.
I wasn't aware that it was the greatest band of all time, but I'm glad that they started a residency.
Well, you're helping us learn about the Tennessee whiskey process. I'm trying to help you about music and that they.
Hold on.
We love some Def Leppard.
I'm thinking of a younger Bill Pullman. All right, hey, geez. See, I always say I'm Scott Van Pelt. You know who he is, right? That's me.
You don't say Scott Van Pelt. He likes to think he looks like Bruce Willis, and he looks nothing like Bruce Willis.
I mean, I do like that better, but yeah, I can't pull that off. All that he's
I would have liked to say Tom Cruise, but I guess I'm Nate Bargatze. I'll take that one.
Take that, right? Well, let's ask this. Then.
You could be Alanis Morissette.
Oh God, that is hilarious right there.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. We have more funny things. Don't worry that I've done.
All right, one more off-topic question. If you guys were, working in the rig house, you're laying some barrels down, and you have to listen to some rock and roll, what bands do you want playing while you're back there listening to kind of get you through the day?
I mean, does it have to be rock and roll? Is it all? I mean, what are we talking here?
All right, you get one rock band, and then you can do whatever you want after that. It's a two-part question now.
Okay. Wow. I mean, rock band. I'm going Zeppelin because I'm old with that. But then we're in Memphis, man. We got to have Stax. We got to have Royal Studios. We got to have some good rap. Like we're a little different down here. So anything the Stax category, that's where we're at.
I've been to Beale Street. It's fun. It was different because every bar that you go into had a different style of music playing. We had country at one bar, you had R&B, jazz and blues. There was even a half of a mini orchestral arrangement playing in one bar. There's a mini orchestra playing here. It was.
What's BB King from Memphis?
Yeah, BB King's from Memphis. BB King's bars right down from the distillery. In fact, I've got a
Corvette Trace at Steve Ray
bottle right here. Check that out. Boom.
Oh, that's awesome. Jeez, that's awesome.
Put that up again, Clark. Let me see it one more time so the audience can see that.
Hold on.
Oh, that is really cool. Look at that.
So we did a while ago. We did a toast to 150 the greatest Memphians, and we made bottles for 150 prominent Memphians. So BB King, Al Green, a bunch of people like that. So we have some of those bottles, and I'm holding on to that one. But
that's very cool.
We have an eclectic music scene down here. Of course, we got the R&B, big stack influence. Of course, we have Elvis, Johnny Cash. It's all over the map here, and which I think is great because we're kind of at the top of the Delta, right? And so all that Delta soul blues music influences a lot of
Stevie Ray Vaughan and BB King. It don't get much better than that, I tell you.
Right. But you can also play NSYNC because I think Justin Timberlake's from.
Look at that! It's all
so you can claim him as your own too.
I have another question.
He claims Memphis, but he's really from Millington. And if he's listening, awesome for y'all for pulling him. But if he's not, he's kind of a Memphian, kind of not. I don't know. Whatever.
That's funny. Here's my last question. That's not whiskey related, Clark. And I've been to Memphis as well. You're known for also your amazing barbecue, right? So if you have to pick a place to go, where is the best place in Memphis for barbecue?
Best place in Memphis barbecue. I get this all the time. I have a couple.
All right. So when we come out there, we can, hit these places.
Yeah, we'll go. I'll take you to the spot because barbecue is a wide category here. We've got ribs, we got pulled pork,
right?
We got smoked.
I think ribs. Yeah.
If you go in ribs, my favorite ribs are actually from the barbecue shop, which is kind of in Midtown area. And they are just the best, family owned, you name it. The best experience to go for ribs is the Rendezvous. It's this old school place.
That's where I went.
Can't beat
it's dry rub. It's dry rub though.
It's dry rub, and they really are the originators of the dry rub in Memphis. Yeah. It's been around forever, and they're actually right across the street from our office. But so I always tell people, look, if you want to get the best experience, true Memphis fashion, you got to go to Rendezvous. But if you want to have the best plate of ribs you'll ever. And you'll tell everyone about barbecue shop.
All right. There you go, Andy. We got a question from Corey, Andy, real quick.
We'll have to do the barbecue shop, then Rendezvous the next night. We'll have to make it.
Yeah. And then the other one, I got to tell you one more.
Oh, yeah.
There's this place called Cozy Corner. And Cozy Corner is really the spot. It's like the Taj Mahal of barbecue because they have almost the best ribs, but they have the best Cornish game barbecue chicken. the best wings, the best side. So if you like, you have to go to one spot.
It's called the Cozy Corner. I mean, what's not like the? I mean, that's great.
And it's in a gas station.
Even better. Even better.
I like that. Todd, some of your favorite food and mine too is from a gas station.
That is true. That is true.
We're in good shape.
Real quick question from Corey: is there one particular thing in whiskey that shocks you with its popularity? I would say, and I was part of it, the Amburana craze.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, that was it.
It's not for me. It's horrible. I've never had one I liked. No offense to anyone.
When it first came out, I liked it. And then you tasted another one and like, oh, that tasted like that one. Then you taste another one. Oh, that tasted even more like, and they all taste the same. It's
to me, like you guys, you mentioned the beer brewing and all that. To me, the Amburana is like when people are trying to over IPA, like, oh, this is a quadruple backflip IPA. I'm like, it just tastes like shit. I don't know what to tell you.
It tastes like pure gasoline.
Yeah, it's like people are trying to overdo the Amburana. I'm like, stop.
Stings the nostrils. Yeah.
Actually, the best Amburana finish that I think we've had, Todd, if I could speak on your behalf too, was when Old Line just flashed it for like a couple, like they stuck it on for like just like a day, just to give it like a splash of the, and it was really well done. It wasn't over the top at all. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Somebody in the
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon. It was great. It was really good. Yeah. So we'll have to let you have a sample when we come down.
Okay.
Richie, post your question again, Richie. I can't find it. I'm sorry, I missed it.
But while he's posting a question, I wanted to say this too, Todd. It's kind of funny about, and Clark, you can attest to this. Tennessee is an interesting state because if you think about just the different culture and vibes of all of the bigger cities, how different Nashville is from Memphis, how different Memphis is from Knoxville, how different Knoxville is from Chattanooga. Like you think about all the, and they're really, but they all have their own really unique, cool kind of vibe and charm to it, which I think is really cool. And they've all got some really cool places to drink, whether it's beer or whiskey as well. But it's just a really neat state when it comes to that, because everything, you can be in any part of the state and just feel like it's a totally different place and atmosphere, which I really like.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you could drive from where we are, Memphis, all the way to Bristol, which is the end of the state. And people forget, but that's like a 15-hour trek. Okay.
Jeez.
So you think about how, geography wide that is. But every little town, we got east, west, and middle, and everybody has their own culture. But the overwhelming thing is people in Tennessee, in my opinion, are just really cool and welcoming wherever they're at. But if you take that to the whiskey perspective, like in West Tennessee, you've got us doing our thing, minimal, doing the Lincoln County, but kind of barely. Middle Tennessee, you've got the big boys, and you've got. And then, you go up to Knoxville and Gatlinburg and you've got the moonshine and all that kind of stuff. You've got a pretty wide ranging palette, so to speak, as well, from a spirits perspective too.
It's a pretty cool state when it comes to, and music too. You got a lot of different musical vibes, which I think is really cool too.
Chattanooga slept on, by the way, and Chattanooga whiskey too. They're awesome. Them high malt.
Yeah, I heard you and Todd chat for a second about Chattanooga and Tim Pearson. He's a good friend of ours, and they're doing some great stuff. Their experimental line is fantastic, and I love the fact that you all got together to really kind of bring to light Tennessee whiskey outside of Jack and Dickel, because I think there's so many good distilleries doing great things that aren't getting the attention that they need. And it's almost dangerous they blew up the way they should look, which you can be able to keep up because of how good the juice is coming from some of these places that aren't Jack, Jim, and Johnny. And that's what I really liked about like you all getting together and just kind of making Tennessee whiskey prominent again.
Yeah, I mean it's been fun. It's been fun to see a lot of people.
You ever thought about doing a collab with Chattanooga? You guys getting together and doing a little collaborative, maybe a little blend?
I'm all come on now.
But there is currently a project on the market that some people can get, and it was a collaboration between, I'm going to mess this up, but I think it was 10 distilleries across the state, and they created a blend with barrels from all over the state and had some of their master distillers and blenders come together and make that project. And that is something that I think you can find in a certain number of liquor stores and in some of the airports that have liquor stores. Okay. And that is kind of a mouthpiece to the Tennessee tourism and to the Tennessee Distillers Guild and Trail. So that's a cool project. We did not participate in this calendar year, but we may in the future. And so that one's really cool.
That's neat though. And I think you guys would do great work together. I mean, Tim and his crew are like mad scientists, and the stuff that you guys are doing in Memphis is just absolutely phenomenal.
Speaking of mad scientist, Andy, I just poured this toddy, which has a great name by the way.
Before you do that, let me try this weeder from Dave Vogel's.
Yeah, before you wreck your pat with this.
So this is just to give you the backstory for everyone out there. So Dave Vogel's sent this to me.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that.
Todd, you don't get everything. I mean,
evidently not. Evidently not.
So this is Old Dominick, aged 7 years, a single barrel wheated whiskey, and it's a 2025 staff pick. So Clark, this is one you all decided.
Clark picked it probably.
Your pick coming at 124.27 proof, which you said 124 is kind of that sweet spot that you like for the weeder too.
Mm-hmm.
So I am super.
All right, well, open that up and let's. I got a question while you drink that. Candace, Clark, when are you all going to offer the chicken in the merch shop? I've been trying to sneak. Oh, Andy, you just took off what I was saying. God.
Well, I don't get that much.
So Candace is always trying to get our chicken. But Candace, I'll bring you one when I see you at Spillway. How about that?
All right, there you go. All right.
Candace is the best. She's a super Old Dom super fan.
Candace will be, maybe if we do an Old Dom, I guess. Well, then Ernest and Candace, you're on the 21090 Old Dom pick. You have to be because she's going to be in Michigan with us for our Dragon's Milk, my New Holland pick in March.
I just posted Tennessee Collective. Sorry, I was drawing a blank. That is the current project that you can find with some really cool stuff in it.
Ernest said he drove through snow to get bottles of the Tennessee Collective whiskey. It's a blend of 15 distilleries across the state. You'll try it when you come on down. Ernest, you're going to spoil us. And bourbon is whiskey uncensored is into the Dom. There you go. What's up, Ben? Good to see you, buddy.
Todd, I will say this.
Yeah, sweet whiskey. What do you think about that?
One time where I'm upset that I'm in Orlando right now.
Right.
And not back at the 210 studio.
I can try that.
Because you would love this. This is right up your alley. Todd's first love, Clark, was actually larceny. He fell in love with bourbon through wheated bourbon.
I do.
So this wheated whiskey being such a high wheat, it's got that confectionery kind of like nose to it, which is absolutely popping. But the proof, this drinks dangerously.
What's the proof on it?
124.
124.
It really does. It's not overly sweet either. It's really well balanced and layered. This is absolutely stunning.
So good. You know that you said that was a staff pick, right?
Yes.
Okay. So a couple times a year we'll get together as a team and with people from production, front of house, back of house, accounting, finance, marketing, and do blind barrel picks. And so that is quite literally an all staff pick because everybody puts their input in.
Oh, that's awesome.
We do it blind, we vote, and so that's also really fun. 124 is probably one of the higher ones you're going to see.
Okay.
So, excellent.
Hey, that's a wheated whiskey or wheated bourbon? It's a wheated whiskey. Yeah, right. Wheated bourbon.
This is a wheated whiskey, not bourbon, wheated whiskey. So this is the high wheat mash bill. And it's actually funny because if you are going to lead into that hot toddy there, Todd.
I mean, I poured it.
There is an element, correct me if I'm wrong, Clark, but there's a little bit of that cinnamon allspice finish on this wheat that I wasn't really expecting. That really comes through almost like a touch of like a red hot, which is really amazing.
On the wheated whiskey, huh?
On the wheated whiskey, and it's beautiful. It finishes instead of like a rye spice, it's like a cinnamon spice. It kind of coats the palate as it goes down. It's absolutely gorgeous.
There you go, Richie. Love it.
Beautiful.
So what might be interesting is, Todd, you have a Huling Station wheat pick.
Yep. Yes, I do.
Pour that before we get to the toddy. Obviously, you don't have the wheat Old Dom in front of you, but let's get your take on how that tastes. And notice one thing you did not say was you didn't find that grassy at all, right? The Old Dominick wheated whiskey?
Not at all.
I would be interested to see if Todd pulls any of that element from the MGP wheat. Same mash bill,
okay,
same age, but those are all barreled in Indiana, and most of them stayed in Indiana. Aged.
This is 8 year, 114 proof, still box pick. Interesting. All right, straight wheat whiskey. Mm.
What do you think there, Todrick?
Yes. I do actually a little bit. However, I stopped it. Give me a second. I actually like this a lot.
I mean, it's great too, but they couldn't be any more different. So I
Yeah.
always like letting people try.
Andy, don't drink all that. Bring it back. I need to try that.
Def Leppard might be playing tonight. Too late, Todd.
Well, all right. Well, Dave can send. He'll send. I'm sure Ernest has a wheat whiskey pick.
Don't worry.
But so this is how I fell in. I mean, so I think also, this wheat whiskey I had. This is a while ago. This is a pretty old pick, actually.
Yeah, it's probably been a few years since we did that one.
Yeah, so you're saying the Huling Station has some grassy herbal kind of notes to it?
I get more herbal than I get grassy. Okay.
And it's absent in our version of that.
There's completely there's not even a hint of it, which is kind of.
But I don't also. You said I don't get the spice you're talking about. That you're saying that you get a little bit of that cinnamon and clove.
It's there. I mean, I kid you not, it is there, which is why I thought it was like a perfect transition.
A little bit of chocolate on there, which I do like.
Hot toddy. Because I mean, it is just. Amazing.
I mean, I like it. I mean, I drank half the bottle, and as I always do, I kind of stop after that and move on to the next one. But I remember I liked it, and I still like it. I mean, even 2 years from now, it's at least a 2-year-old bottle right there. I mean, look at.
It's been a while.
I like MGP. I actually love MGP. I don't say MGP in a bad way.
Right.
Clark, we actually got to tour MGP. Like we actually go and. It's like a walking back in time. It's amazing.
It's like Willy Wonka for
It is. It is.
And what it would cost to put up a facility like that today, like no one would even invest in that. It's just massive. You've got the train tracks coming in and out delivering grain. It is unbelievable.
They spill more whiskey in a day than we can make in a year.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Hack and Mac. It's Hack from Hack and Mac.
People realize just how bloody big it is, but it is huge. And just when you think you've seen it all, you can go down to like 3 or 4 different basement levels below and up and
we saw some crazy shit there.
It's massive. It's huge, and it's why you
also went into one of the rick houses, and their alarm started going off, and we could smell it. They're like, "Get out, get out!" Like it was
dangerous. Like
ethanol. And we were like, they were like, "Oh, sorry about that." It was crazy because there's thousands upon thousands of barrels in that rick house. So, Mac or Hack has a question. Andy, has anyone asked Clark if the Old Dom 8 is actually a double oak?
I guess Hack and Mac is asking me that.
Right I guess so. Yes, they are. Yes, Hack and Mac. This is Hack from Hack and Mac asking that question. He's putting you on the spot.
It is double oaked. It is. We put it in. So our barrel char is number 4 char barrel. We put the 8-year back into a number 1 char just to soften it up a little bit more. So it is truly double oak, goes into a new oak barrel. We don't lead with that. A lot of people are like, why aren't y'all saying it's double oak? And I guess the way I would put it is, double oaked is becoming just a nice technique in whiskey. And I don't think it's important to have that as a branding element anymore. And maybe we wanted to leave a little bit of nuance to it, but it got out it got out there in all the circles that it was double oak. So it is though. It is for sure.
Richie, I missed it again. I will find your question. Dang it. I got to find Richie's question. Any talk? I missed it twice now.
You did miss it twice. All right.
Well, do you see it?
No, I don't. But let's go off topic again.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to find the question.
Tennessee sports is a little bit different than Tennessee spirits. It's kind of all over the place.
Yes.
So, are you a fan of the Predators, the Titans, the Grizzlies, or college? There is no baseball there. What are your thoughts? Like, what sports are like true Memphis or even Tennessee folks drawn to?
So Tennessee in sports is like 3 different states, quite literally.
Oh,
so you got college football.
Knoxville.
A lot of people are Vols fans, but where I live, there is a mix between diehard Vols fans, a lot of Ole Miss fans. Remember, we're 40 minutes from Oxford, right? So
okay, there you go.
And shockingly enough, you have a lot of Memphis Tigers fans, like boom.
There you go.
On the football front, basketball, it's split. You got Memphis Tigers fans in the West, Vandy fans and
yep.
And then you got a lot of Vols fans in the eastern part of the state. Now, the hockey is where it gets different. I'm not a hockey guy, so I don't root for the Predators. I don't follow them.
Okay.
We have a basketball team in Memphis, so everyone around here is diehard Grizz.
Yep.
But in Nashville, people don't really care about the Grizzlies. They're diehard Predators. And Knoxville, I think it really is preference on
interesting
if you're into hockey or into pro basketball. It's kind of a weird thing. On the baseball front, though, in Memphis, we're close to St. Louis, and we have their AAA baseball team.
Nice.
So you got
a
bunch of diehard St. Louis Cardinals fans.
Okay.
The rest of the state, I'd say, are really diehard Braves fans. So.
Yeah, Braves got a lot of people around that area.
Yeah. When we grew up, we had Braves on TBS in our neck of the woods, and then on the radio too. So we got a lot of diehard Braves fans around. Yeah.
So
what about NFL?
It's funny when I was in
NFL. I mean, you got the Titans, but the Titans are relatively new, right? So I mean, I know it sounds weird when you say that, but they have not been around all that long. But when they burst on the scene with McNair and got to the Super Bowl, like
Eddie George, sorry we ruined the party. Ravens just came in and bitch slapped them, and we took the Super Bowl.
Yeah, y'all did. Yeah. But I'm a Saints fan, so I'm an oddball.
All right, it didn't affect them. That's good. Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people love the Titans for sure.
The funniest thing about the Titans fans is they're notoriously known for being nice. Like, so we're in Baltimore. We'll go to Pittsburgh, or Pittsburgh will come here, or Cincy or Cleveland, and we're all just mean. We're a bunch of jerks that love our football teams. And you go to a place like Tennessee to watch the Titans play, go to maybe Charlotte to watch the Panthers play. It really is. If you go down south a little bit, people are like, hey, come over, hang out with us.
Same in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's just.
I have a theory here. Maybe not so much Charlotte, but the Nashville fans who are traveling in to see their team play the Titans, and if you're traveling in New Orleans to see your team play the Saints, you're there on vacation.
Yep.
And you're there to have a good time, and both fan bases are there to, like, come on, check it out, have a good time. And it's not so like, hey, what are you doing here? Let's fight in the stands. You know.
Although I will say this, I went to Nashville. I was there for a couple of days for business, and don't ask me why. I'm a huge Winnipeg Jets fan. Okay. And they are in the same division, obviously, in the Central as the Predators. And I went out and I had my Jets jacket on. People were giving me a hard time. They're diehard about the Preds. Like, like it's a real deal. They actually really love hockey there. And from what I understand, because I want to go there to see a game, I've been to a bunch of different stadiums to watch, or arenas to watch games, and they've been great. And I hear like the experience in Nashville is fantastic. So I do want to go there to check out a Predators game, but they really follow the team well. So, and they gave me a hard time. So it was kind of fun.
Real quick, I've got Richie's question. I found it. It has to do with your fueling station bottle. And I think this is an easy question. Richie wanted to know when did Old Dominick switch from these square-shaped bottles, my first fueling station back? They were always. This was when it was MGP, correct? Holding station was only in these square shape, and your brand was it always in these bottles? Or were they always in this?
No. So
you want to know, when did it change from this to this?
The fueling station was always in that square squatty bottle. Right. When we made our own in-house distillate, that's kind of the line in the sand. Everything we make at the distillery is that bottle. And it has that embossed Old Dominick on it.
Beautiful, by the way, beautiful bottle. I don't know if you're. I love the label and everything about it.
And so that's kind of where, because essentially we have two brands, right? And so we don't want to confuse people.
It is kind of confusing at first. I got to tell you, it is.
Put it up again, Todd.
So I mean, but think of this as their MGP wheat, and this is their distillate, and this is probably going away because they.
On that healing station, there's no mention of Old Dominick on the bottle.
Yeah, right.
But people knew us.
Top. Well, right there's a little label on the top that says Old Dominick right there. That's right here. It says Old Dominick on mine, at least.
Yeah. So people kind of knew that was coming from us, but as that inventory kind of fades away and sunsets, our main focus is our in-house produced spirits.
As it should be, I think.
Yeah.
So there you go, Richie. I'm sorry it took so long.
Sorry, Richie.
All right, Andy. Last thing, because we're over with Clark. Let's get into the hot toddy, which is a great name.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for this.
I say this all the time, Clark. You don't find many people named Todd anymore. My name is Todd. I'm a child of the 70s and 80s. And you ask someone in 2025 if they name their kid Todd, there'd be 0 people who said that. And it is what it is. You know, name me another Todd. Todd Van Poppel. That's my age group. Todd McShay. Yeah, there you go. It's probably around my age, right? There's no Todd Juniors, is what I'm saying. It's a name that's stuck in the 70s and 80s and maybe early, and that's it. I'll take it. But anyway, Andy, I know when you drank this, first of all, Clark, tell us what this toddy is. And it's super different. And Andy loves it.
The toddy is actually important to the overall Old Dominick story because when I mentioned earlier, Domenico Canale, our founder, he was taking barrels of whiskey from Indiana and Kentucky, bringing them down to Memphis to bottle them. And, we don't know exactly how he decided to do this, but my assumption is that he had some whiskey that wasn't quite making the cut, right? Wasn't going to make in one of his flagship labels. So what he was probably doing was he was taking fruit, spices, sugar, cinnamon, clove, various, flavoring agents and flavoring that whiskey to make it taste better. Let's just call it that. Call it what it was. That took off. That became the Old Dominick Toddy, the bottled.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah, great name. In fact, we have a lot of old newspaper clippings that said, Old Dominick Toddy recommended by 10 out of 10 physicians to cure all ailments. All right. So it became such a big deal. People were drinking it medicinally. This is before penicillin and Tylenol. Okay. So it was what it was. Yeah. So that is important to our brand story arc. But with the brand, when the brand went dormant under Domenico, so went the toddy, right? Chris Canale, our current owner, and his cousin Alex, they found some of these original bottles and they were able to pop them open. Of course, they tasted them. They tasted like absolute shit because they're 100 and something years old. But what they did was they were able to send it off to a lab and get it kind of analyzed, right? And we retrofitted the formula to recreate it pretty close to what he was doing back in the day, just with our own spin. And basically, the only difference we're using is a really great base liquid. We're using 3-4-year-old bourbon to flavor that toddy. And so, I tell people all the time, think about taking a whiskey barrel full of whiskey, taking a big giant cheesecloth and throwing in cinnamon, clove, black pepper, grapefruit, dried lemon, orange peel, and some sugar.
It's like I'm going through an orange blossom. And
dropping it in there just like you're making tea. And then those flavors kind of, seep her out. And then
my wife will like this. I think she will.
My wife, and then there you go. Now hold it up, Todd. You can see it's kind of got a little cloudiness to it.
It does. It says on the bottle. Andy has the bottle, but it's his house.
Yeah.
There it is.
It kind of has a little bit of a hue. It's because it is an all natural process. So it does have a little bit of. A lot of people say they got floaters in there. No, it's just shake it up a little bit. But it tastes like Christmas time in a glass.
You heat this up, put this in like heat it up and make it hot.
Italian to make this. This is what I mean. This is Italian influence. You can tell.
Italian, by the way. He's Italian.
Paisan made this. This is
a Paisan 100%.
I love it.
That he was from from Italy. I think he was familiar with
beautiful
Amaros and stuff like that. And I think this was his version of like a redneck Amaro when he was.
It's better than Amaro because Amaro can be really biting and just kind of sharp, where this is smooth and elegant, and yet it does have a little bit of that, like, let's go out into the back of a pickup truck and like drink this and pass it around the bottle. It's elegant and yet not elegant at the same time. It's a beautiful marriage. I love this. Have you said it? Try it.
You can drink it. I don't know if y'all are drinking it neat.
I'm drinking it neat. Drinking it neat. Yeah, just right out of the bottle.
If you were to put an ice cube in it, it will change drastically. Or a lot of people put it in their fridge, and when it's cold, it has a lot more cinnamon and sweetness to it. Than when you drink it neat, it's got a lot more kind of clove and cardamom kind of vibe to it.
I actually I enjoy that, but I get a lot of orange blossom too. And
there's also a little bit of a tea element to this too, but not. So sometimes when people hear that, they quickly get really like turn off.
Has anybody in the chat had this? Anybody in the chat had the hot toddy or the toddy? I mean, I guess you can make it hot, right? You could heat this up and drink it hot.
For sure, I like it with cider, like warm.
Oh, I like that.
Now, Clark, you've done a lot of the kind of help to like rebrand and market and stuff like that as well, though, have you not, with Old Dominick?
Right. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this as putting Todd's face there as a blonde for the hot toddy?
I think I look like Joe Elliott there.
I told you. I think we're trying to grow and not trying to crack.
Well, here's a better question. Anthony wants to know: will there ever be a barrel-proof Old Dominick toddy? Probably. I don't know. Maybe will there be? I mean,
oh man, y'all would laugh. That conversation comes up like twice a week.
Okay.
So, all I can say is never say never. I don't know. I mean, not currently though.
All right. These tasting notes.
I'll tell you what. If you want a high-proof toddy, you take the cash strength, 1.5 ounces of cash strength bourbon, and you do a half ounce of toddy, and you got your ready-made old-fashioned out the door.
Oh, I like that.
This is a fly under the in a sea of really good stuff from Old Dominick.
Come on, really?
In a sea of really good stuff from Old Dominick. This flies under the radar, in my opinion.
Andy loved this right away. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I love that you have this. Does it sell well, Clark? I mean, is this the people coming here and like, is it? I assume is it a seasonal thing or is it all year?
One seller every day, all day long at
all day long. Really? Oh, well, makes sense.
I mean,
it's beautiful.
I want to try to get my wife to drink this because she hates. I give her anything. I had chocolate flavored. It was made with Bardstown bourbon. I couldn't taste the bourbon. It tastes like chocolate to me, and she spit it out because she could taste the bourbon. I've tried all these pre-made cocktails that she always picks it up. But see, I can still taste some bourbon in this, so I don't think she's going to go for it.
The last thing I'll say to Toddy is like we're a portfolio of brands, right? We have the classic bourbons, the whiskeys, the barrels. We have gin and vodka as well. Ooh. This fits right in our portfolio, being just something different. Something.
Andy loves gin. Andy's a gin. Yeah. Andy, you do like your gin.
So,
you do gin at Old Dominick?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't wait to try that too.
Clark, he's going to get drunk when he comes out and picks it up.
I might. I'm just going to throw that out there, but
don't you worry.
No, not intentionally, but because your stuff is so good. Now, have you ever thought about having? Because I just realized this too. I looked it up. Morgan Freeman doing some voiceovers for Old Dominick, like advertisements. He's also from Memphis.
He is from Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is not too far. He does claim Memphis, and we allow him to claim Memphis. He spends a lot of time in Memphis, and he's cool as hell. I don't think we can afford him, though. I don't know. I mean, we can do it on AI, though.
I like that. That's a good answer. That's cool.
He's the man, though. He's like the coolest guy.
Yes, Cindy, that was a good gin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Clark, we've taken up a lot of your time. I want to thank you. Andy, I don't know if you have any more questions, but we're certainly we're excited to come out and pick a single barrel for our patrons. We'll hang on. Don't go away. Just wait 2 seconds after we close this off. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. Andy, any last questions for Clark?
I don't really have anything off the top of my head other than this has been really informative. We thank you for coming on here because Todd, I think you may have said this when Clark first came on, but we slept on this for way too long. And I'm impressed by the more we taste and delve into Old Dominick, just how good you guys are, the history behind it, even the communal nature of the way you interact with all the other distilleries around Tennessee that aren't Dickel or Jack. Like, I just think it's phenomenal. So we could not be more appreciative that A, that you've come on here and just kind of talked about this with all of us, and B, that we can hopefully come down, pick something really special, whatever that may be, and expose even more people to what you guys are doing in Memphis, because
Old Dom had
what
a
you're doing is fantastic.
beat Stag Jr. in 3 blind. Look at that Old Dom cash strength. Stag
that's
Jr.
great.
I mean, I can totally see that.
Man, I appreciate the kind words. What we just love, the community of bourbon, and we love doing this stuff and hanging out with people, and yeah, when you guys come, we will show you all a great time.
We can't wait. I'm so excited for that. That's fantastic.
Don't fall. We're gonna end it. Just stay on there for 2 seconds. We want to just chat with you for 1 second after this. And Andy, next week we'll be back. It'll be another great Tuesday night. But what a great night!
Tuesday night. Clark, I'm going to let you pick.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
You don't know what this means.
Oh God.
You can pick Real Men of Genius.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh no.
Which is actually really good. Or you can pick Milkshake. Either one of those is so you can pick either one, Real Men of Genius or Milkshake to end the night. You have no idea what either one of those mean.
That's true.
You get to pick them.
I know what they both mean for sure.
Okay.
So
not my context though.
let's take all the boys to the yard with me.
All right. Okay.
You're welcome. Clark, don't click off yet. Just stay 1 second. Guys,
I'm so impressed. All right, here we go. We're gonna leave you with Todd. Hey, Clark, thank you. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
Next week.
Because my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. They're like, it's better than yours, damn right.